Let's take a closer look at Rh factor. To start with, what type of blood cell is involved in determining a person's Rh type? Is it red blood cells, white blood cells, or platelets? Just like in ABO blood grouping, Rh factor is determined by the red blood cells only. Rh factor, also known as antigen D, is a sugar that is either on the surface of the red blood cells or not. I'm depicting Rh factor as the blue triangles here. So in this case, the person would be considered Rh positive. They have the antigen D. The other possibility is the person does not have antigen D. That's known as Rh negative. Most of the population has Rh factor. 85% of the population is Rh positive. So only 15% of the population is Rh negative. One big difference between Rh factor and the ABO blood groups is that no one spontaneously produces antibodies against Rh factor. For the majority of the population, they have Rh factor, and so they're never producing antibodies against it because itself. But for the 15% of the population that doesn't have Rh factor, if they are exposed to Rh factor, they will produce antibodies against it. If an Rh negative person produces antibodies against Rh factor, that is not a problem in itself. The classic problem occurs when an Rh negative mother is pregnant with an Rh positive child. Rh factor is a dominant trait, and being that 85% of the population is Rh factor positive, the odds are that the offspring, the developing offspring, will be Rh positive. Taking a closer look at exchange between the mother and the offspring, you can see from this picture that the mother's blood does not mix with the offspring's blood, so it's perfectly fine that the offspring is Rh positive and the mother is Rh negative. The blood does not mix. At the time of birth, the mother is going to be exposed to the offspring's blood. And when that happens, the mother has the potential to produce antibodies against Rh factor. As I mentioned, for an Rh negative person to produce antibodies against Rh is not a problem in itself. The problem comes into play with a subsequent pregnancy. Here you can see that the mother produced antibodies against Rh factor, and even though the mother's blood does not mix with the offspring's blood, the antibodies do cross, and anti-Rh antibodies can cross the placenta and coagulate the developing offspring's blood. We try to prevent this problem by treating all Rh negative mothers with anti-Rh antibodies as an injectable drug at certain points in the pregnancy. This way the mother is never stimulated to make her own anti-Rh antibodies.